In this chapter, we're going to be looking at the normal distribution. This is one of the all-time most important concepts in statistics. Loads and loads and loads of different things can be modelled using a normal distribution. Right, we're going to jump straight in now by talking about raisins and straight lines. So I've been teaching statistics for many years, and when I begin teaching normal distribution, I get my students to do the following things. I empty a bag of raisins onto the desk and I get a group of them to weigh and record every single one of them. So aren't you glad that you're not in my statistics class? I also get a different group, the other half of the room, to all try to draw a 15 centimetre line freehand. In fact, part of their homework is they have to get all of their friends to try to draw 15 centimetre lines freehand as well. Then they measure them and record the results. So over the years, I have gathered a huge database of weighed raisins and of people's 15 centimetre lines. So what on earth could be the connection between these? Well, if I draw a histogram for all of the raisins that have ever been weighed in my class, what they look like, it looks like this. So there's kind of small numbers at the bottom. You can see that it peaks somewhere around 23, 24, that sort of thing, grams that is, with the very smallest one ever being weighed somewhere around 4 grams and the very biggest somewhere around 40 grams. Okay, what about all of the line drawings? So of all of the lines that anyone has ever drawn and recorded and brought to my class, this is what the histogram looks like. So they kind of look similar, right? I mean, the details are different. Here are some of the details. The mean raisin weight was 25.7 grams. And the standard deviation for raisins was 6.7 grams. Just remember what that means. It means most raisins, a good chunk of the raisins, are within about 6 or 7 grams of the mean. What about for the line drawings? Well, the mean line length was 14.9 and the standard deviation was 2.8 centimetres. Pause for a second there. The mean line length was 14.9, so the mean was really close to 15. By the way, that's something called the wisdom of the crowds, a really interesting concept. It's the idea that if you get tons of people to estimate something, the average of their estimations is usually better than any individual person. So hardly anyone drew a line that was better than 14.9, but that was the average. So it's kind of cool, this idea that the average of everyone's is very good. Okay, so the details are different, means are different, standard deviations are different, but look, the shape is the same. So that is the idea that we're going to latch onto. And in fact, quite a lot of very different data has that shape. For example, if we plot birth weights of babies, okay, here's a histogram of that, and look, it's got that same kind of shape. And here is the a cool one. This is heights of 3,000 adult male criminals measured around 1900. Plot their heights on a histogram and you get that shape. So what's going on here? Well, we've got normally distributed data. So what is a normal distribution? Well, normal distribution is what you'd get if you took any of these histograms and imagine that you had, this is probably about 1,000 raisins, believe it or not. This is probably about 2,000 lines. But if you had approaching infinite raisins and you made your histogram bars smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until there were maybe infinitely many tiny little bars, what would the shape be then? Well, the shape would be a curve which is known as the normal distribution curve, or sometimes called a Gaussian curve, or sometimes called a bell curve. And it's this shape, and that is what we mean by normal distribution. It's this shape here. Now, what we're going to see in the next video is that all normally distributed data has the same properties. So what do we mean by continuous random variable? Well, the things that we are measuring with a normal distribution, they always have to be continuous data. So when you've got your normal distribution, your bell curve like this, it's always measuring continuous data. So if we think about the things that we were measuring, it was weights of raisins, weights of babies, lengths of lines, heights of people. These are all continuous, right? Because a weight can be anything in a given range. It's not like the number of times I throw a basketball into a net, which can only be 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 and so on. So it's got to be continuous. Random, because it's not determined where it is, and variable because it can take a number of values. Now, the things that we were looking at were histograms, so they were recording frequency. When we take it to infinity, rather than representing frequency anymore, we're representing probability. So rather than kind of adding up, individual bars to say, well, how many raisins were there here? Well, it's the area of this plus the area of this, and so on, to work out what how many raisins are in that range of weights. Instead, what we do is we look at areas under the graph, and that represents probability. So let's say we're looking at raisins here. Okay. So what do we mean by area being probability? Well, the raisin has to take some weight, so it's going to fall somewhere in here, which means that the total area has to be 1. So normal distribution is a continuous random variable, so it's a smooth curve. The total area under it is 1. And then we could start to say things like, well, what's the probability that a raisin has a weight which is less than this point here? And let's say that's 20 grams. Well, what we would do is we would work out, and I'll show you how to do this later on in the video, in the chapter, is we would work out this area. And whatever area this is, maybe it's 0.32, for example, that would mean there was a 32% chance of weighing less than 20 grams. Or, what's the probability of having a weight which is between 28 and 30? Well, we would just work out the area of this slice here. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that. That's what we're going to spend most of this chapter doing. So normal distributions, we are looking for areas under a normal distribution graph, and that's going to tell us what probabilities are. And the things that unite normal distributions, even though loads of different things are normally distributed. Okay? Weights of raisins, lengths of lines, really like anything, people's heights, people's weights, anything in biology, pretty much, they're all normally distributed. All of them have some fundamental properties which are similar to them. So if they've all got really similar properties, what's the difference between them? Well, the only real difference between normal distributions, and here's my raisin data and my line data again, is their mean and standard deviation. Once you know the mean and the standard deviation for a normal distribution, you can work out everything. Now, just very basic stuff for now. It's true that if you have your normal distribution, let's say that we kind of had the perfect one, suppose I had infinitely many raisins and I made a perfectly accurate histogram out of loads of tiny bars, it would look like this. The peak of that bar would be at my mean, so that would be 25.7 here. And similarly for line lengths, if I was to draw my my perfect idealized normal distribution bell curve here, the peak of that right up in the middle would be 14.9. So they're symmetrical always. If it's not symmetrical, it's not a normal distribution, and it peaks at the mean in the middle. Some other cool properties is that there's actually a point of inflection here and here on a normal distribution. So a point of inflection linked to pure here is where the second derivative d2y by dx squared equals 0, is where it changes from being sort of steadily getting steeper to steadily getting less steep. And similarly here, the second derivative is 0 at this point as well. And these points here are one standard deviation either side of the mean. So in our case, we've got a mean of 14.9. If we go 2.8 back, we'll get that point of inflection. If we go 2.8 forwards, we'll get that point of inflection. So all normal distributions have that property. If you go to the mean and you go back one standard deviation, you'll get to this point of inflection. If you go forwards one standard deviation, you'll get that point of inflection. So as you can see that all normal distributions, it doesn't matter what they were measuring, if the data is normally distributed, they'll all have the same properties, and that means we can work out some probabilities. In the next video, we're going to look at some of the things which are the same about all normal distributions. I'll see you there.